Right, it's Monday the 12th of February 2024. The time is 7 o'clock. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and welcome to Bradford City Chickens on the Loose podcast live. And today we'll be talking about the pre-match of Wrexham. The post-match of Wrexham, pre-match of MKDons, the latest Bradford City news, everyone's favourite feature, the weather forecast for a Bradford game, and score predictions. And I am joined by a couple of regular people. I'm joined by Stan, Diane, and DJ Lee. Good morning, guys and girls.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everybody okay?
Good evening. Can you hear me loud enough?
Yep, you're covering both my ears.
Oh, that's good.
Right, so let's get straight into it, shall we? What's your thoughts on the Wrexham game?
I'll start the ball rolling. It was a good result, very good result. Overall, played well. I think they shaded the first half of the first half. And second half, I thought we started well. The middle bit where it is even Stevens, but I thought we kind of looked the better side towards the end and looked more capable, I think, of getting something. Really good atmosphere. Really good atmosphere. And one of couple of criticisms I have, or it's an observation really, is that when we didn't start with McDonald and Bob and Clark Odor got on in front of Bobby, but I think when we were kind of a bit panicky coming out, kicking the balls out of defence for the first 20 odd minutes until McDonald came on and probably calmed it down. But overall, I think a very good win.
And Diane, what's your thoughts on the game?
Can I admit that I only listened to the second half because we're coming back from my dad's?
Oh, there's always one.
I know, I only listened to the second half. I got in about half three and I had to do loads of stuff, so at least I listened to it. No, I thought second half it sounded like we were playing better than the first half because obviously I didn't hear what the first half were like or anything. But there you go. I'm glad we got the 3 points over them anyway. At least I admitted that I don't listen to the second half.
Yeah. Jake, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Hello. So what were your thoughts on the Wrexham game?
Well, I thought it was a really good result. Not many of us. It's a classic Bradford City way, right? You play the good teams at the top end of the table, turn up and perform, and then, we'll ride around against Sutton, and that's when it becomes tricky for us. But I hope that's not the case. I genuinely hope that this is a big turning point, but really good result and completely agree. McDonald absolutely changed the game when he came on, I feel.
And DJ Lee, what's your thoughts?
Well, I know everybody slated him against Wimbledon, but tell me the difference between the two performances other than Cookie managed to stick ball in net this time. That's all that was missing against Wimbledon, and it's paid off in Wrexham, and I said we'd nick it 1-0, and we did.
Miss Callett?
Evening, everybody. I thought second half much better than the first half. When a Cookie missed a penalty, I was like, "Oh God, this is how it's going to turn out." But fair play to him; he kept his cool and got the much wanted goal. So I think we had a bit of luck on his side, if I'm honest, as well, which we don't normally get. But yeah, cracking result. Let's hope, as Jake said, we're turning the corner now and we get up that league.
Yeah. So my thoughts on it were, I agree with you, Callie, we were lucky with it. When we got the penalty, I actually faced the other way. As soon as Andy Cook picked it up, I thought he's going to miss this or something's going to happen. And obviously he did miss it, but then he came the hero with that header. And the stuff you find on like YouTube, like I found a Wrexham guy who does like live streams the game and does reaction thing. I've put him on social media and he thanked me earlier for plugging his channel. But I thought Chapman was really, really poor on Saturday. He just didn't seem himself. He didn't seem to get forward as much. Kept taking ball out. Has anyone got thoughts on how Chapman played or any particular other player?
I think he played how Alexander wanted him to, didn't he? To fill in and kind of back up our friend Mr. Smallwood a bit. So it did sort of negate his attacking prowess a little bit. Although he put a good pass in, didn't he, early doors?
Yeah. Anyone else? Thoughts on any particular player who sticked out for them, or?
I think I agree with kind of both of you in that sort of probably wasn't his best performance, but he's still coming back from injury, and the rest of the team are already up to speed, and he's playing catch up. So we won't get that consistency from him just yet. But I thought Kavanagh looked all right in parts. He's very much he's kind of a bit raw, but he's not as raw as the Irish lad we had last year. What we called from Burnley.
I know. I know you mean.
He was very raw and very low in confidence. But what I like about Kavanagh, I think. Obviously, there's parts of his game that he will improve on. He's just a kid anyway, but he kind of he's direct. He'll have a go. He'll take a player on, or try to take a player on.
You've got your hand up, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, Sam Walker was really, really, really good at the weekend. Yeah, I mean, look, when he came in, he had a pretty uphill battle. I mean, Harry Lewis has been obviously very good for us last year, and although he dipped off a bit of a start of the season, I think when Sam Walker came in, a lot of us were probably a bit dubious as to, how well he might actually do. But, he's a towering presence at 6'6" in net, and Wrexham obviously peppered the goal. They only actually ended up having 5 on target, I think. But, he made 2 really, really good saves in that. And I think that's our 3rd clean sheet in a row now. So, I think to him to come in, mid-season after not having much game time, he's actually been a really positive acquisition. And, hopefully that means that our defence can, continue to be solid. Because, this week, actually, if you think about it, against MKDons and then Sutton at the weekend, I mean, obviously tomorrow will be a tough game. But, more than enough chance for us to kind of move up the league a bit and hopefully be positive. I mean, I think the playoffs are a big stretch, but if we can get this defence sorted out, then you never know.
Stan, you got your hand up, bud?
Yeah, thank you, Jake, for actually reminding me. You're correct. I thought Sam Walker he had a flawless game. He had a perfect game. He was dominant in the air. Obviously, made some good saves. His positioning for the saves was very good. His distribution was very good, and I was talking to my mate on the way back on Saturday night, and kind of saying that, like, when those balls have been coming in, he's either his physical presence, his positioning, or the aura around him, his communication is a lot more commanding. There was no kind of flapping at those crosses. I mean, he'll probably have a game where that'll be the case, perhaps, I don't know. But, obviously, Wrexham were very good in the air. But he was very much, I think, a calm presence in those situations, as well as for the rest of the game, obviously. But in terms of, like, there were nothing that the balls went in that area, and he pretty much dealt with it. So yeah, absolutely flawless performance from Walker, and sort of like the Harry Lewis of this season has obviously not maintained the high standards he set last year. So on that level, I'd say, well, if Sam Walker's like that for the rest of the season, I'd say we've got a better deal, in terms of him coming in. But yeah.
So looking at the stats from FootMob, Wrexham had 63% possession. We only had 37. They had 17 total shots. We had 10. They had 5 shots on target. We had 8. There was two big chances, one for them, one for us. Big chances missed same again, one for them, one for us. Accurate passes, they had 347, 77%. We had 167, 59%. They committed 5 fouls. We committed 19. There was 11 corners for them, and we only had 3 corners. But when I watching the game, I don't know if I think it's Parky's like mentality, what he's put into the team is they're doing everything really quickly, like throw-ins, corners, but they're going down a little bit easy. And does anyone else notice anything from the game?
What happened to Paul Mullen? Because wasn't he playing there on Saturday? Because people say that he were crap.
He couldn't score in a brothel.
Took him off, didn't they?
Yeah, and obviously,
You say I heard that.
Yeah, he came off, and there was quite a bit of explosive chanting coming from our end.
Well,
yeah, and when he came off, it was pretty funny, to be honest. But what were people's thoughts on, before we move on to the MKDons preview, what's everyone's thoughts on Andy Cook taking penalties? Do you think he should stop taking penalties, or do you think he should carry on taking penalties? Because he's missed, I think, two big penalties, hasn't he, now?
I'm going to be brutally honest, no. He's missed 3, but he needs to keep taking them. That goal will have done him no end of good that he scored. The penalty he took on Saturday was straight down middle and he saved it with his legs. That's not an Andy Cook penalty that's confident, is it? It's sticking it inside post. So,
But you, Stan, have you got any thoughts on the penalty?
Yeah, it was a poor penalty, and I probably agree with Lee. Sorry, that a confident scoring Andy Cook probably, like you say, puts that just inside the post, doesn't he? So maybe, I mean, we're all really pleased for Cook, the fact that he scored a few minutes later, because if he hadn't done, I mean, you look at what it was like the rest of the game at Stockport. He could have got a hat trick that night, and you could see it basically, it got to him, and he is very much a heart on sleeve type player. So he's quite simple in that respect. So yeah, glad that he kind of scored that goal, and great actually as well. The turn for that, the turn when he turned the centre half,
Cruyff turn.
Yeah, it was a proper Cruyff turn, wasn't it? Yeah. And he's kind of like good on him, because he did that turn. He shot decent enough save, but he followed up, and great stuff. So I'd probably say give him another penalty, but I don't know. It depends, doesn't it?
Diane?
My phone's playing up. Like they say, let him have another chance. But I thought Richie Small were going to take it when I heard that he had the ball, and I was swearing at the radio.
You and me both.
You want the only one.
Do not let him.
You want the only one live.
I was like, no.
No, do you know what that was? That was really good from Smallwood, even though it didn't work. Well, it didn't in a way. He basically took the pressure off the penalty taker.
Yeah.
He took that burden on, didn't he? He was the one that was going to get all the shithousing from the Wrexham players. Yeah. Then when it all just died off, he gave the ball to Cook. So that was. Really...
I think Andy will score a penalty, but when he put his hand in his head, I felt hands in his head in his hands. I can't even speak. I felt so sorry for him, because I did see the replay of it. I felt so sorry for him when he missed it.
He knew it would have poor effort, didn't he? He knew.
Oh, definitely.
Low, on the floor, down middle.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on it, Jake? Andy Cook on penalties?
Well, I mean, for me, I'd be putting Jake Young on the next one. I mean, we've got, a lad who was the top goal scorer of most of League Two, most of the season in League Two, rather. And I think it'd be great for him to open his Bradford City account soon. It's nothing against Cookie. He's a fantastic striker, and he'll continue to score whether he does or doesn't take penalties. But, I think he'd been on for most of the game, so it makes complete sense that he's on there. But I think now, after missing that one, there's no reason why, if Young's starting, we shouldn't have him on there, unless he particularly doesn't fancy it. You want a confident penalty taker going up and having it, but I think the quicker Young opens his account for us, the better. For me, like the kind of recipe for our future success relies on those two playing together, because the two of our players who we've got tied down for contracts beyond the season. So the quicker we can get them playing together, the more potent our strike force will be. And if we get a penalty tomorrow night, I'd really hope it was Youngie stepping up taking it, but if it's Cookie again at the same time, I don't think that will affect his confidence. I think if anything, like what was said earlier, that goal he scored at the weekend will, do wonders for him. So either way, I'm easy, but I'd have Young on the next one personally.
I'd agree with that. I would say that Alexander is probably trying to get Cookie firing on all four, and that's probably why he's told him to keep taking him.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I think everybody said what they needed to say there, really. I don't think I've got anything to add to all that. I just hope it has given him his confidence back, and I hope he fires quite a few more in on next game.
So looking at the formation we played, 3-4-2-1 with Walker, Kelly, Platt, Tompkinson, Halliday, Gilead, Smallwood, Richardson, Cav, Chapman, and Cook. Richards went off with looked like a bit of a nasty head injury. So do you think he'll stick with the same team minus Richards, or do you think he'll change it about and just start off with Stan and work it along, really?
Well, I don't know what he will do. I mean, what he should do is start Smallwood. So, the option was, obviously, Rideout is out, so probably put Gilead at left back. My mate said it was an elbow. It was a red card from their player to elbow Richardson in the nose or in the face. So, it's kind of like, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's got to start Kev. So I'd say start with the team that he finished with.
Okay, Diane.
I didn't know why Kevin McDonald went on so late because of Richards getting the injury that Kevin McDonald went on. Because wasn't that in the first half?
Yes, that's right, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I said earlier, go to the second half. I'd probably, like you say, Sam, I'd probably start with a team that finished because we did really well in the second half. See if we can carry it on.
Yeah. Jake?
Yeah, I think generally you don't want to change a winning team, do you? That team at the end is probably one of our strongest lineups. I mean, the only thing I'd say about tomorrow is however we play it, I'd use that pitch that we've got to our advantage because, the pitch isn't in great nick and we know that, Mike Williamson's MKDons like playing very, expansive, fast-in football. Don't know who else wants Stadium MK, but I was there and they passed us all over the pitch. And I think the fact that, our pitch itself isn't looking in great condition at the minute, I would try and make it a really cagey tight game. And I think we do need Gilead at left back if Richards doesn't fix. I think we need some pairs to cope with them going forward. So yeah, I'd keep it the same as it ended really.
Lee?
I've got a question actually to those of you that went. Chapman came off, Ado went on for him, and then 20 minutes, 25 minutes later, he took Ado back off and put Stubbs on, which I could understand. We'd scored, Cook scores on 90 minutes and there's extra time, so I didn't think Ado were doing anything. Did anybody else notice him? He did a few touches down right-hand side, but that was it. No end product.
Kept running a few cul-de-sacs, in my opinion. He just wasn't getting anywhere, and obviously he came on.
Nothing coming in the middle, was there?
No, mate. We just kept running to cul-de-sacs and stuff and not really doing well, so...
I'd be interested to see
going back to Walker is he brings an assurance at the back that we've lacked.
Yeah.
You just know he's calm. And
Callie, have you got any thought on the formation or tactics or anything?
I'd like to see Bobby, but I know we keep droning on about Bobby Poynton, but I'd still like to see him up there in the team. I just think he brings a lot to the game. I like his fire and his passion.
He should have come on. He should have come on instead of Odor, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So
should have started, but 100% should have come on, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
So moving on to the Milton Keynes Dons game, typically on a Tuesday night. No team news, nothing. That's why Monday night for a game for Tuesday night, there's no team news at all. So we're doing this blind again. So Bradford City versus MKDons tomorrow, 7:45 kickoff at the University of Stadium, Bradford. The referee is Oliver Yates, and just a couple of stats on Mr. Oliver Yates. In the EFL Trophy, he's had 4 appearances. He's dished out 14 yellow cards, no second yellows, no reds, no penalties. League One, he's had 11 appearances, 43 yellow cards, 1 second yellow, and he's given 4 penalties. League Two, 9 appearances. He's dished out 39 yellow cards, 3 second yellows, 2 reds, 3 penalties. FA Cup, 1 appearance, 6 yellow cards, no second yellows, no reds, 1 penalty. In the EFL Cup, he's had 1 appearance, 5 yellow cards, no second yellows, no second reds, and no penalties. Grand total of 26 appearances, dished out 107 yellow cards, 4 second yellows, 2 reds, and 8 penalties. And just going on about the stats and stuff like that, Bradford City have won 7. They've drawn 1, and Milton Keynes Dons has won 2 games. So going back to 2003, Bradford City won 3-2. 2014, Bradford City won 1-0. September 2014, 1-2-1. 23rd September, we lost 2-0. 9th February 2015, we won 2-1. 16th August 2016, we won 2-1. 28th February 2017, we drew 2-2. 7th October 2017, we absolutely smashed them 4-1. 24th of April 2018, Bradford City won 2-0. And 24th October 2023, we got absolutely battered by MKDons 4-1. So what's people's thoughts on the referee? And we'll start off with Stan and work away across.
Well, brace yourselves then, innit, really? It sounds like they're happy. It sounds like the sort of ref that is in danger of losing a game at some point, innit? If he's dishing out cards, it almost feels like, I'm guessing here, obviously, but, you know, kind of he'll start dishing like 3, 4, 5 cards out in the space of 10, 15 minutes. So, yeah, gosh, that's going to be interesting. Not looking forward to that bit.
No.
Diane?
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be Mr. Card Happy, like Stan says, tomorrow. Hopefully he's not going to be card happy, but our lads will just have to be on the guard, like if he's done all them cards. That'll be fun.
Yep.
Sounds like it might be a Drysdale.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Don't say that in front of Callie, she'll go skits. Jake, what's your thoughts on referee?
God, I hate that man.
I know you hate that man. That's why I mentioned him.
No, not alone.
No faults for me and the referee. I mean, look, cards are we are. I mean, I think at the weekend he refereed for Wycombe Peterborough, which was 5-2. So, you know, I'd take us getting a 5-2 win over MKDons. But yeah, I'm not too fussed either way, to be honest. I think we've been pretty good actually at not picking up too many silly cards. You know, despite the fact we've supposedly fouled Wrexham quite a lot of the weekend, I don't feel like we went, you know, overboard or, you know, across the line too much. So, you know, fine.
Lee?
I just think we need to be on as metal and concentrate on what we can do best, and that's attack. Let them commit the fouls, let them get sent off. End of. He's card happy. It's apparent. Bring it on.
So before we go to Callie, we've had Andy Tubbs Taylor just tweet us underneath. Walker commands his 6-yard box, coming off his line. Lewis great stopper, but never comes out to take the ball. Very impressive with Walker. So then, Callie, what's your thoughts?
I think I second what Lee's just said. I'm sure Graham Alexander has got enough oomph about him to kind of look at, like fans do, we look at stats. I'm sure he must.
Yeah.
And, you know, try and calm him down and just say, look, we've had a win. I'm sure he's going to sort them out for MKDons. I'm absolutely 100%.
Yep, so it's the Alexander Derby, innit? Tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he knows the team better than anybody, really, doesn't he? So, yeah.
How long were he there?
Didn't you get sacked in October and you were there? Didn't you get appointed in June, July last year?
I think about 8 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't long, was it?
No.
But it's
enough. Like June, July.
It's enough to get to know him.
So that for me gives us. I think I'm feeling quite positive because he knows obviously the team. We're confident after what happened on Saturday. We're due to beat them. If the record against them ain't good, we're due to beat them. So yeah, I'm 100%. It's going to be a massive game for us.
I think the potential for us to get cards tomorrow is if we're late to tackles because they're basically passing the ball around. So it's rather than like recklessness, it's going to be, we've got to make sure that we play a good pressing game that doesn't ensure that we end up like out of position or late to tackle. So yeah.
Well, if we give them anything, it's in their half, not ours.
Actually, I thought Platt managed his game quite well. I thought the back three did really well because Platt got a relatively early yellow card, didn't he, on Saturday?
He did.
And managed to manage his own game for the rest of the game. And I thought, for most part, he did well against, like, obviously, a good forward line.
It's very rare we do bad at cards, isn't it? We lose the reds. Some odd players lose the red towards the end of games, don't they? Sometimes, but overall, we don't do bad, do we? Giving, being sent off and such like that. I think we do quite well at it.
Yeah,
They're
the manager
quite
getting yellow card.
Quite smart, aren't they, our players at back? So
Yeah, and I think Tompkinson, the USA guy, I think I think we'd be a lot worse, but worse off if he weren't, in the defence. I think he holds that back line amazing. I think he,
on Tompkinson, he looked tired to me against Wrexham.
Did he?
He did.
I just think, I don't know what it is about him. I just think he's one of them.
He kept going, but he just looked tired.
It looks to me like one of those players that has got that passion about him. When you play the Andy Cook goal back, got the same teeth in as Diane. You could see that passion in him because we'd scored, and same with Cookie and the rest of them.
For sure.
You could tell what it meant.
He won at first there.
A lot to that team. Yeah, absolutely.
Tompkinson won at first there, and I liked that Young came across as well, didn't he?
Yeah. You could tell what it meant.
To really all of them, every one of them on that pitch, it was yes.
Yeah.
Relief.
Yeah.
On Tompkinson, guys, his last few games, his passing, which has normally been good, hasn't been his best attribute, but he did play better. And I think that back three is the first choice back three for me. But yeah, I think they complement each other well. I think Kelly's probably the best out-and-out defender, but Platty and Tompkinson are decent enough footballers as well. Not that Kelly can't string a pass either, but yeah, I think
his block. He's known for his blocks, and his blocks are just amazing. Sometimes it's like, how the hell did he get there?
Yeah, yeah, he loves a battle, doesn't he? And he kind of
does. It does.
I mean,
and we're without Richards out with this tomorrow. But his eye were completely shut. Claret streaming, so I don't think he's going to be playing tomorrow.
No, they'll be
interested to see. Yeah, well, yeah, concussion that were mentioned, concussion protocols.
So before we go on to basically latest Bradford news / anything, Stan, I've got to ask you one question.
Go ahead.
What are you having for your tea right about now?
I know. I could hear my cutlery rattling against the plate. I'm having roast chicken legs with chips. I was going to make myself some mashed potatoes, but I couldn't be bothered, so roast chicken legs with chips and gravy.
We have to get a bit of food into this podcast occasionally. So the next feature I like to call is latest Bradford news / if anything wants to talk about anything. Basically, try to keep it clean, but we'll start off with Stan, really, and work our way across.
Sorry, yeah, so what, just any other business kind of thing?
Yeah, just any other Bradford news, because I can't find out online, so there's no team news out online, so just if you want to talk about Bradford City-wise.
No, I mean, I think, we talked about, sort of last week, we talked about the fans forum without the fans. I think obviously we've just got to carry on with the season and just kind of make the most of it because this is it now. Windows shut. I can't see him sacking Alexander or anything like that. So just basically play till the end of the season and see where we go. I think we're probably up against it a little bit, but that squad is good enough. to sort of push for the playoffs. We may have left it too late, but it's only 7 points, so there's plenty of time. The only other thing I would say, and I saw a tweet today, and from a Carlisle fan saying having doubts, and a City fan responded, "Well, you can't have a refund." He's not.
I saw that.
It's not started off well for him, has it? So, I mean, they were poor before that. So, just going back on that, it's a strange choice, but it is what it is.
So before we go to Diane, just looking at the league table, Bradford City are currently 14th. We've played 31 games. We have won 10, drawn 10, won 11. We're on -3 goal difference, and we're on 40 points. And MKDons are 6th. They've played 30, won 15, drawn 6, lost 9. Goal difference 11 and points 51. So we just need to go on a bit of a win, really, don't we? And start climbing that table, and you never know, miracles might happen. We might get into the playoffs.
Can you imagine that it would be the biggest comeback ever, wouldn't it, if we did? Even if we just managed to scrape into playoffs.
All right, Callie.
Yeah.
History makers of this if we get to the playoffs.
Say that again.
So what would be better, right?
Yeah.
History makers when obviously we got to playoffs and stuff like that, got to League Cup final. Or would you say this year, if we do get to playoffs, what would you say? Would you say which one's better if this happens, for example, if we do get into playoffs?
It's got to be league, hasn't it? It's got to be getting out of League Two. It's got to be the biggest thing. But I mean, look what we did in 2013. I know it were a completely different team, but who's to say we can't win this little cup that we're in, and get in playoffs? It only takes a few games, doesn't it, to get together? 3 or 4 games, a nice little run. We can do it. It's there, and the players should be thinking that now. They should be thinking, right, we've got one win under us belt. We need, you know what I mean? I hope they're all sat there thinking, let's just go for it now. We've got no to lose. Let's go for it, like they're doing in the cup games. They seem to be coming out of a cup game and going onto the field with a different mindset to league. I just hope that carries on. Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Diane, love?
I think if we carry on the momentum of winning now, you don't forget teams can slip up mid-season. People do have a slump. So we could get up to them playoffs if people do get the slump in the mid-season, as they do. We just need to keep the win ratio going, which I think we can do.
The other thing to look at, if you're going to be on the optimistic side, is that teams will be playing each other. So somebody's going to be dropping points. So, you only have to be minimum, was it 7th best team in this league? So, I think if we did, it would only be at best be better than 2013 if we actually get promoted because of the way that the season's gone. But getting into the playoffs and failing is not a patch for me on 2013.
Yeah. Lee, have you got any thoughts on it, bud?
Yeah, we just need to win. I think if we keep doing what we're doing, keep solid at the back, nick a goal up top, frustrate the opposition, which we've done in his last 2 games, because Wimbledon got frustrated, we outplayed them. Wrexham were getting frustrated because they couldn't find that killer touch, and we did. Clough said, takes a second to score a goal, and thanks Andy Cook, you got ours on Saturday. And we can do that again, at home, where it matters, because that'll put a lot more bums on seats if we start putting a run together.
Yeah.
I've not seen. I don't know whether anybody else has, but obviously I've been looking after my little dog, and I've not seen any negative stuff anywhere on any social. Has anybody else?
No.
Yeah.
It's all been positive.
Yeah, it just shows, doesn't it? Just one win just changes the whole situations that's going on behind scenes.
And if we win tonight,
So you go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
if we win tomorrow, because I know, I'm not talking about the trophy, but if we win tomorrow, you might get more people getting tickets for the trophy for the semi-final.
Hope so.
As well, to keep the momentum
Don't
going.
winner only get 100 grand for that?
I don't know, but we have sold over 3,000 tickets at the moment. So that's not too bad. But like I say, if we keep the momentum going, winning, you're going to get more people wanting to go next Wednesday to watch us try to get to Wembley. Sorry, Stan.
One thing on that any other business thing. Did anybody see or catch what Graham Alexander was saying about Jamie Walker and Tyreek Wright? I think he said Tyreek Wright's nearer to coming back than Walker is, but I didn't catch it, so I just wondered if anybody else did.
And Jamie Walker got a broken leg and specialist missed it. That's what I've heard.
Do you know the thing about that as well? Because people were talking about Walker, who had been injury prone. He was taken out by an absolutely awful tackle. A really cynical tackle.
Or a bulldozer, wasn't
nothing like that. He didn't. Who was that, say?
It was a bulldozer of a tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's one thing like doing a cynical foul, but there's another thing breaking a person's leg, isn't there? Like to kind of in that cynical
Is that
foul.
what he was saying? That he's got a broken leg now?
Well, it was a fracture, wasn't it? Something, yeah.
Well, fracture's a break, isn't it?
Saying specialist missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of his someone put a bit of a snarky comment on social media, and then I think it's one of his relatives replied to it. And in other words, she said something about a broken leg.
One thing we know as fans about Jamie Walker is he runs his nuts off every game. He doesn't give up on anything. So I was wondering if he's fractured it through tackle that was just mentioned, or if it's some sort of stress fracture because he's been playing with knocks, which he did last season as well.
I think if you look back to that game, he was in obvious pain, money. He really
he doesn't stay down, does he?
Yeah, when he walked past the goal, you could tell he was in pain.
And I can't imagine he's too happy with the outcome of that tackle, but also the fact that it was missed, because obviously they would have tried to get him back in training, and who knows what damage that was done by a missed sort of like X-ray or whatever it was that they missed. So, and for me, like in an AOB sort of style, I think got to sign Walker for at least another year, and
for sure.
you know, because behind Brad, he was up to that point second best player at season.
So we've had Andy Tubbs again reply. It says, need Walker, Wright and hopefully Patterson back and get some positive results. Next 10 days are big for the club. Agree with you there. That is massive, absolutely massive. Is anyone else?
Pato this year, though, that's the thing.
What's he actually out for? Does anybody know?
Well, that's what I missed. I didn't know if it were him that had broke his leg or... GA mentioned it in a presser, didn't they?
Hamstring.
I think it's about 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks. I said Patterson's out for.
And we've got Oyagoki. What's happened to him?
He's damaged something, hasn't he? But then apparently we were supposed to go back, but then the club agreed with each other where they would keep him at the club, but lower the wage /
Vaft it, haven't they?
Either paying. Yeah, so they've kept him. Is anyone else? Sorry.
No, go on. No.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, is he coming back or isn't he? Do we know?
Not sure.
I'm not bothered, to be honest.
Has anybody got anything else they want to say? Anything football related? What's your thoughts, we say, on the blue cards?
If it works, it works. I mean, that blue card, I mean, to be fair, the Walker, that blue card apparently, in it for those sorts of tackles or cynical fouls where, I mean, when your player does it, you kind of take it, but so frustrating when it happens when another team player does it to you, when you're breaking away and they bring you down or they pull your shirt. So I think, is it for that?
It's a sin binning, isn't it? So a player can calm down.
Yeah.
A bit like rugby.
You know, it'd be really funny.
Send them off for 10 minutes.
What'd be really hilarious, though, so we say a goalkeeper gets a blue card. what would actually happen on that? Would the goalkeeper have to come off and like a defender have to go in net for like
Yes.
10 minutes? Or
Yeah.
would they just switch them about? I saw it on Facebook earlier. Someone posted it about if the goalkeeper gets a blue card, he can either get substituted or like another player can go in goal for 10 minutes.
I think it's a good. I think it's a really good idea, mate. I think it'll.
Yeah.
It works
And I
in
think
league
it'll
and
give
union. It works.
teams like us chance to bang one in while they're down to 10 players. I think
But
it's
they'd
a
have to
good
do.
thing.
Why don't they go all log and just do away with yellow card or sin bin on a yellow card? Let him calm down, because 9 times out of 10, it's where most of the arguments come from. And I didn't do that. Come on, have a look. Get your specs on.
So
You know what I mean?
ask a bit of a scenario, right? I'm going to use Jamie Walker, for example. Say Jamie Walker is on a yellow card and he goes and he trips another player up. And instead of getting a yellow card, he gets a blue card. Do you reckon it would cause a bit of arguments, or what do you reckon would happen in that
With
situation?
Jamie Walker, probably, definitely. He's passionate about his football.
Jamie Walker's a good shithouse, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's good.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one because I think typically, like everything else in football, although to be fair, they did kind of do goal line and VAR, but would be that they try it for like a few weeks and then stop it. Typically, do you know what I mean? Because remember at the start of the season, we were all playing like 200 minutes a game because we were adding every single second on, and whether that I'd be interested to see whether the behaviours of the players have changed over the season as a result of that, or whether they just stopped enforcing stuff. I don't know.
I think they have to experiment with it, don't they?
Yeah, why not? You know, sort of like in pre-season, whatever. In this cup, you know, EFL trophy.
Yeah, that'd be an ideal vehicle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to experiment in the Women's Super League as well for an FA Cup next season.
They don't argue in women's football, do they?
Oh, they do. Oh, I have to watch it with my dad on a Saturday if I'm over there. Oh, yes. They do argue. But they get straight back up if they get injured.
Is anyone else, anything else wants to discuss about anything what's happening at Bradford City or anything?
Can I just say, I found the Ryan Reynolds tweet hilarious, saying we played with heart, etc. And then it got removed quite quickly because the Wrexham fans were complaining that he was bigging up our team. I just found that really funny. I just thought I'd put that in there.
Don't forget what a Wrexham fan said about the stadium disaster as well on Twitter.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
I've got the tweet in front of me.
Glad I didn't see it.
And I was...
Yeah, I know. I'll get you, Lee.
So a guy called Jamie West, I actually reported this to Wrexham and Twitter, and the tweet actually got removed. So if people want to disappear for like 10 seconds or so, the following thing may be a bit offensive. So Jamie West tweeted, "I'm thinking the same, the rat. I hope you all involved in another stadium disaster." That tweet got tweeted out at 5:45 on February the 10th, 2024. I reported it, and I think a few other people reported it, and then it got removed. So I'm hoping the Wrexham and obviously Bradford City do make a complaint, and that guy loses his season ticket.
I think he should never go to another football game.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Stuff like that should not be in the game. I know sometimes it's good to have banter and stuff and like that, but
banter I can live with.
The line, that tweet.
Yeah.
I think it's just more an indication of that person, isn't it, really? It's just, if that's your...
That's how I deal with it. It says more about them than it does anybody else.
It's like I've said, you're in control, aren't you, of what you say, what you do, what you put on social media. You have control. You might be driven by a certain amount of passion at sometimes, and I've stopped myself from, sort of like sending a tweet because I just think, right, just calm down. Yeah. And just kind of walk away.
But that kind of thing is hatred, and hatreds just should never be part of anything.
I think it's just shit for brains, isn't it? Really, as you know.
Brain.
Exactly. So,
And the club are tackling down on things like that. They're using it as the same kind of forms as racism, etc. They're using people using bad words about the disaster as the same thing, and they are banning people, which is really good that the club are taking that stance on it.
There's one thing also I want to say about our fans on the Saturday. Every single one of them fans should actually be pleased with themselves because everyone seemed to behave themselves. And also, no pyros got thrown on the pitch when Andy Cook scored or in the vicinity. What I didn't witness. So the fans actually do deserve a praise for once because of the situation. What did not happen? Nothing happened. I don't know if any arrests got made.
it's a pretty low bar, though, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah.
you didn't throw a pyrotechnic onto the football field. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I think, I mean, there was some banter between Wrexham fans and City fans near where I was at, because I was near sort of like the barriers. I was on the end of one of the rows. It was a really good atmosphere Saturday, and we always play well. We always get a result when you sense the crowd's up for it, and it transmits onto the pitch, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right. So, everyone's favourite part of the podcast now, sponsored by...
Here's the weather.
Yeah, here's the weather, sponsored by Callie's Horsey Jack. I'm going to rename it. So, the weather forecast is the sun will rise at 7:32. It's going to be a bit cloudy, but then the rain's going to come in and it's going to absolutely sail it down until about 11 o'clock at night. The sun's set at 11 minutes past 5. So you need your big coat and wrap up warm.
You mean big coat, pink hat, scarf, big boots?
Yep. And then we're going to now move on to Stan's favourite feature. Score prediction time.
Yeah.
Score draw.
What's your prediction, Stan? And see if you can get it right this week, like you did last week.
Score draw. I think it's going to be 2-2.
You're sitting on fence again, aren't you, Stan?
Well, you know, how often do we score 2 goals? So
right. So because you've done that again, I'll have to play. Let's go for, what's this one sound like? Yeah, sitting on the fence again.
Yeah.
Diane, what's yours prediction? Don't worry, you're going to get a sound effect as well.
Oh, man. Can I just say, can I go for a win, please? Because I don't know what score it'll be tomorrow night. I'll go for a win.
You're going to go for a win, right? You're going to get a...
Thank you.
Well, how long has that going for? Lee, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go for 2-0. Cookie and Young to score.
All right, you're going to get a...
Thank you. Felt that.
Who else? Callie?
I'm just laughing at all the sound effects. I'm going 2-1 win because we've got confidence after the last game. Andy Cook is due to put another one in. Young's got a score at some point. So I'm going 2-1.
Oh.
And Callie, your sound effect's going to be... and I think the score prediction. We've got Tony. I love Tony, not in that way, but Tony, you make my day every time you come. Right, Tony Christie, best name ever, Tony. He thinks it's 2-0, 2-0 Bradford City. So you're gonna get a sound effect, and that sound effect's gonna be. Can I find a suitable one? What's this one? Yeah, that one. Right, I think the score is going to be... I'm going to go 3-0 City. I'm going to... yeah, 3-0 City. We're not going to score that much. And I think Andy Cook will probably get a couple of goals. Right.
Johnny, I have one burning question for Callie. Did you meet up with the Welsh Lothario on Saturday?
No, we exchanged a few messages back and forth, but then I've been, bless her, my dog had to have a big, massive, major operation, so I've just kind of not been on anything really because I've been looking after her. But I might just start it up again,
How's
just see
she
how it
doing?
goes.
She all right?
Yeah. I think she's turned corner today. Dressings are all off. It's just the stopping her actually licking it now and making it infected. But
Yeah.
she's a lot better. She's actually trotted onto the vets, and she's not even been walking properly. So yeah, I think hopefully, touch wood, she's turned a corner today. But thank you very much, everyone.
So I'm glad your dog's happy, Callie. And obviously,
How's your lad?
Oh, my lad's all right. He's running around like a nutter. So Callie and
Can't keep a
obviously,
good man down, eh?
yeah. So obviously, on last week's podcast, there was a bit of romanticness going on with Callie and another person. I love these sound effects. So last week's podcast, I think Callie met the one. And I'm going to end this
The
abruptly because I
one?
don't want to go off topic. Oh, you missed it, Lee. She ended up chatting to some Welsh
did?
person. Yeah, she ended up chatting to some
Alright.
Welsh person. And
Because somebody told me they weren't doing one because of a thing, and I just thought, well, I'll go do something else instead. So I did something else instead.
yeah.
And then I came back and it's like, hello. Nobody loves me.
Right. And on that note, thank you everybody for coming along. This podcast is available on every single podcast site you can think of now. We are now working with TalkSport Fan Network. We've also got a little Facebook page on the go, Bradford City Up the Chickens. And also, if you fancy, give us a like on Twitter. And hope the Bantams do win tomorrow. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.